Hello everyone, Delight here. I have been doing my self-esteem program, the sentence completion, which I have a few of those on my blog. And I was reading from the beliefs about reality that support self-esteem. Nathaniel Branden wrote down a bunch of different things that you can say to yourself every day to help you facilitate your self-esteem and things that, that are going on in the world, things like that. Things to just kind of help you out, kind of like a mantra, a daily mantra. And I've been thinking a lot about relationships. I've been helping a few people with their relationships. And I came across this one in the beliefs about reality that support self-esteem about relationships. Here it is. Relationships based on an exchange of values are superior to those based on the sacrifice of anyone to anyone. And basically what he is saying there is that if you give equally to the person that you're in a relationship with, and they give equally to you, you don't have to sacrifice anything for that person. And having to sacrifice anything for yourself is not the best way to have a relationship. If you feel, and I went through this firsthand, the way I was raised, we believed, well, I was taught that, the way that you love somebody is to get them a gift, or you give them something, or you do something for them, which is all fine and good, but that's not how love works. And so when you do these things, you end up in a deficit because you keep giving and giving and giving because you think that this is what love is. And then the person that you're doing it for, while they are enjoying it, they don't understand that they are expected to give something back. And if you're like any normal person, you feel that if you give something and you expect something in return, and if you have to say, hey, I expect you to give me something back, that it kind of nullifies the intent. It's like a mother taking care of her child. You don't expect that child to be like, hey, thanks, Mom, for, feeding me. And if you do, which I have also experienced, yeah, there's something wrong there. And that's kind of how I grew up. I was expected to give gratitude. And if I didn't, then it was suddenly as if I didn't love the person. And that was a very confusing way to grow up. And so in my relationships as an adult, I ended up giving a lot and, receiving a lot less because the person that I was with didn't understand that that was my idea of an exchange of love. This created a lot of heartache for me over the years, a lot of confusion. And I only just recently got to the point where I understood that my way of thinking, my way of understanding, and the way that I was taught is not the way that everybody else sees things. Then a lot of things started to make sense to me. And this, I will tie it into the video that I did about, the getting the car instead of a diamond. This is kind of an elaboration on that video, going a little deeper into that understanding and how because I didn't love myself, I never understood what love actually was. And I just kind of based it upon all of these interactions that I grew up with. And that was the only understanding that I had. I think most painful thing that I'm still kind of working through is the thought that I made all of my transactions of love into transactions. And I never wanted them to be seen as that, but I understand now that the people who were in those situations with me, that's exactly how they saw it. It seemed as if I was trying to buy their love. And that is one of the things that you kind of have to evaluate with yourself. Okay, I pulled myself back together. That this is a little rough topic still for me. But yeah, I really had to come to terms with the fact that I was trying to buy the affection of people. It's not something that I totally intended. I mean, I would never actually, attempt to do something like that. But in reality, that's how it looked and how it was perceived by others. And I have grown into more healthy styles of expressing myself now, thank goodness. But here's what happens. My situation aside, we try to force people into the roles that we want them to play for us because we cannot play that role for ourselves, either because we don't have self-esteem or we don't love ourselves or both. And when we try to force somebody into a role that they can't or don't want to or have no idea how to perform for us or be for us, then they get confused and then we end up suffering or making them suffer or both. It leads to most people shutting down and pulling away from us. Because when you can't be something for someone and you can never seem to make them happy, then the only way to preserve your sanity in a relationship is just to kind of pull away. And it's when they pull away that we believe that they're trying to hurt us. But in reality, they just don't understand what we want. And a lot of it comes because we know what we want in our mind, but we don't realize that people can't read our minds. And our idea of love may not be theirs. So either one of two things has to happen. We either need to tell them, hey, this is what I believe love is, and this is what I want you to do, and then hope that they will be okay with doing that thing. Or we can begin to love ourselves, and we don't need them to do those things anymore, because we can either do them for ourselves, or we realize that they're unnecessary. That was what happened to me. I have a large problem that I'm still working on with expressing my wants and needs because they were never a forefront of my life as a child. So I'm still working on being able to do that. So instead of tackling that one to begin with, I tackled the one that I thought was easier, which was loving myself. And I actually succeeded with that one. I've been doing pretty well. And that allowed me to accept the love that I was given as it was. And it's really a good feeling. I am still working on expressing my wants and needs, which I'll probably make a video because I'm sure there are other people out there who are having the same problem. But if you can accept the love of your partner, the person that you're in a relationship with, as they're able to give it, a whole new world of relationship happiness will open up for you. It's almost magical, and the amount of relaxation that takes place between you is just wondrous. And you begin to realize how much strain those desires have been causing between you. Now, I'm not saying that it's 100% you, but you are the only person that you can start with. I know there are relationship therapies and things like that, but sometimes the other person is either unwilling or unable to, or you're not able to ask them to participate, or you're afraid to ask them, or whatever the situation is. I'm just letting you know, even though a relationship is a two-way street, you don't have to rely on the other person to fix your relationship. You can start with yourself. It's beautiful. And once you start accepting that person that you love for who they are, they blossom into a completely different person. And it's just an amazing transformation. It's worth the try. Because honestly, in reality, you can only fix yourself. You can't fix another person. And just because they might be unwilling to do so doesn't mean that they don't love you. It just means that they're in the same boat that you are, that they don't think they have a problem. And if they don't think they have a problem and you don't think that you have a problem, but you still have relationship problems, there's a problem somewhere. And if you're watching this video, you know that. So start with yourself. Take the initiative. It's the most unselfish thing that you can do, and do it for you. Don't do it for them. You have to do it for you or you won't continue with it, as I've stated before. It's the wrong approach to change yourself for somebody else. Change yourself for you. And if that person is the person you're meant to be with, when you start changing this, you will see that. And if they're not the right person for you, you will get that picture very quickly, because they will kind of start distancing themselves from you. And that will let you know, hey, maybe I'm wasting my time. And there's nothing wrong with that. If the relationship that you're in starts to distance, it means that you're both heading in different directions, and that's okay. Give that person your love and let them be who they need to be. That's all there is to it. You don't have to hate them. You don't have to be resentful to them. Love them enough to let them be the person they need to be, and then go on and be that person that you can be, that you need to be, that you want to be. And be the amazing person that you are in reality, and find the person who's meant for you. Keep working on yourself. Put yourself first. Because if the person that you are with is worth your time, they will allow you to put yourself first. They won't want you to put them first. And you won't want them to put you first. If you feel that another person has to put you first in order to love you, you need to work on loving yourself, because that's not how love works. That is a selfish vision of love, and you will end up hurting the person that you are with. You will end up hurting the person you are with, and you are hurting yourself right now. So I really hope that you can see how that is not an effective way to love somebody. Nobody should expect you to put them first, and you should not expect anybody to put you first. You put you first. You are the only person in the world who should have you on a pedestal. You are the person who needs to love you first. Let them do their thing. Let them be who they are. and they will let you be who you are. It's amazing how it works. When you try to hold somebody back and you try to force them into your mold of a person, they will fight. They will resist. It will cause so much trouble. But as soon as you open up and let them be who they are, that person will shine and they will love you for it. Because imagine how it feels to be with somebody who lets you be exactly who you are. Now go be that person that lets their loved one be exactly who they are. I wish you well on this journey, and I hope this wasn't too confusing because it was just kind of coming from the heart. I will have another video for you. I'm going to make one about a mantra for loving kindness, loving friendliness to do before you meditate. All right, guys, have a lovely weekend and a good journey. Bye-bye.